Moon hangs mean, a jaundiced eye above the busted trailer sky. The rusted corrugated roofs shimmer with the condensation of the swamp night. Fog rolls in, smells like cheap gin, stale cigarettes, where the swamp's damn nightmare can begin. The air is heavy, not just with humidity, but with a palpable sense of desperation and unfulfilled government promises. They weren't proud folks, they were half-drunk, mad, their faces etched with decades of hard living and bad decisions, looking for the last good thing they had. Maybe a stolen hubcap, maybe a worn-out dog. They grabbed the shotguns, rusty and old, the barrels dented from previous fights, trading the last cheap bottle for something cold and final. Their clothing was mismatched, camouflage pants and stained t-shirts, worn down by labor or lack thereof. I watched them stagger toward the mud, a slow, determined procession of misery, fueled by cheap hope and poison blood. Their old pickup truck, its chassis dragging, left deep ruts in the soft earth. The fortress in the distance, a decaying relic of some forgotten industrial age, seemed to mock their pathetic endeavor. No horns, just a busted air horn blare, pathetic sound that cut through the silence, scaring the buzzards already circling high, filling the air with a fleeting assertion of dominance. No taco beat, just a rhythmic, dying engine knock of the old truck idling for too long. Then a final sudden silence, sometime past the clock's midnight chime. Formless thing that the good Lord forgot to smite. Past the busted chain link fence, past the sagging rusted porch light, they vanished out into the long unyielding night. The silence that followed was not peaceful, but absolute, a predatory quiet. Sun bleeds weak, a sickly thin light, struggling to penetrate the perpetual haze across the trash heap that serves as their home. I step out of my unmarked car, the morning air hitting me with the stench of stagnant water and decaying fish. I follow the tire tracks, distinct and deep, where the old truck spun, fighting for traction. The search for the others has just begun. Less a rescue operation and more an inventory of loss. I find the prints impossibly large, deep and misshapen, indicating where something huge and heavy was dragged or carried. A muddy trench where the beast must have slid. Nothing human survived where the trailer folks fought and hid. Just beer cans crushed beneath enormous pressure, and a tattered piece of nylon rope, the only remaining proof of desperate need. The rope was cut, not broken, a clean surgical separation. The air is unnaturally still, even the insects are quiet. Every step I take is a careful one, cataloging the small, telling details that will construct the final tragic narrative. The only movement is the slow creep of the tide in the drainage ditch. The mud, it sucks with greedy maw. I know they understood the fight, they knew the law of the lowlands, the law of the swamp where the strong eat the weak. A fight they were ready for, desperate and bleak, accustomed to grappling with forces larger than themselves, be it the bank or the weather. But this was different, no bodies to find, no shallow grave, no bloodstains on the high ground, just their few meager belongings left behind. A broken length of galvanized pipe, bent double with unnatural force, a cheap plastic shoe belonging to a child, strangely pristine except for the mud and the impression of something bigger than me and you, something that swallowed its victims whole. They didn't run, there were no tracks leading back to the highway. They fought their last round, their final messy stand, then simply erased from the hunting ground. The silence confirms it, the fight was quick, decisive and irreversible. This wasn't a struggle, it was a consumption. I moved deeper toward the forest line, pushing past thorny vines that snag my jacket. A final spot where the ground is violently torn, a patch of earth ripped up like cheap carpeting. I find a shotgun shell, spent, empty and forlorn, lying next to a small, almost microscopic pool of viscous non-human fluid. I kneel down low, my breath held tight, ignoring the burning sting in my knees, and see a strip of fluorescent orange light. It is a piece of a safety vest, the required uniform for many of them, soaked through with muck and decay and tissue, stuck in the ground where they ran out of luck and ammunition. The creature took them, no mess, no scatter, proving that their desperate drunken fight didn't matter in the grand scheme of this ecological terror. There is just one distinct, heavy drag mark, a dark, greasy line leading straight and purposely to the shadows of the abandoned mine shaft, where the sun never shines and the water table is all